the the attitude towards Israel and Jews in Ireland, it has become toxic. The hatred being directed at Israel is unbelievable. The Irish media have become the mouthpiece for Hamas. Israel is accused of genocide every time, every news bulletin you put on. The Jews are accused of genocide, mass murder, etc. There's no attempt at any form of objectivity in the news. It's pure, raw, naked, and nasty, really nasty, anti-Jewish sentiment. I've never seen anything remotely like this in my life. It is horrific. Now, the political class also, they are now all totally Israel. There's no attempt at balance, at nuance, nothing. It is really horrible. Now, as you can see, I am wearing Israeli badges. And well, I've always worn one or two Israeli badges. But these two here, they're quite big. And I purchased these online about 6 months ago. Now, what was I going to say? Yes, about 6 months ago, I got these badges. And anyhow, I decided to wear them to express my solidarity with Israel. Now, I've had lots and lots of people stopping me in the street. Now, these encounters with people in the street, they're very brief encounters. You know, somebody will stop me in the street, say something, I will reply, and that's basically it. Sort of 1 minute conversations. Now, all of the people who have stopped me, the impression I had was that they weren't happy with my badges. Having said that, all of the people who stopped me, who came up to me, all of those people were civil, they were polite. There was no aggression or anything like that. But, trying to catch the light here, and here's the real thing. All of these people basically asked me the same question. And it had to do with violence. All of these people. They all would say to me, you know, have you had any aggro? Have you had any trouble? Or they will say, do you not think you're taking a risk? Or in some cases they will say, you know, you could get into trouble, serious trouble. So, all of these people, these random total strangers that I've spoken to for literally a minute or so, all of these people, on seeing these badges, they're thinking of violence, of danger. So, you know, I am very aware of the fact that I am taking risk in wearing these badges. There is a risk I could get assaulted. And there is a risk that something much worse, I might get assaulted with a knife or something like that. Now, in Ireland, as I said, there's huge anti-Israel sentiment now. But but we have a lot of immigration in Ireland. We have a lot of people coming in from Muslim countries, the Arab world, etc., etc. Now, if you walk around, particularly, well, it's not just Dublin city centre, but if you're to walk down O'Connell Street, you know, the number one street in Dublin, if you walk down Talbot Street, a well-known shopping street here in Dublin, if you were to walk down Talbot Street, say, it would be immediately obvious to you. There are lots and lots of gangs, essentially. There are a lot of young men in gangs, some of them very young, foreign, people who come from the Arab world, the Muslim world, that general area. And you don't have to be in any way, what is the word? You don't have to be smart or clever to understand what's going on with these people. You see people, you look and you think, if these people, back in their own country, if these people met a Jew, they would probably hack him to death. Or a homosexual, or a trans person. Now, I'm not exaggerating here, I'm not being melodramatic. But the fact is that there are a lot of people from different cultures, people who you can tell just by looking. If you're Jewish, if you're a Jewish person on your own with the skull cap or whatever, these people would kill you. Literally kill you. There's a lot of people like that in Ireland now. But on top of that, even the left, even the Irish left, the Antifa types, the hatred of Jews is so intense now in Ireland that these people have been emboldened. The left is out in port. The left is showing its real hatred of Jews now. The restraints, if you like, are gone. So it's getting dangerous. Now, of course, I understand that my age gives me a lot of protection. If I was a young man, 27, 28, let's say, if I was out there in the world doing a job, meeting people all the time, if I was walking around with a young man's swagger, and confidence, if I was young like that, there is no doubt in my mind that I would have had a few punches by now. There's no question about that. If you're young, if you're out there and you're showing off stuff like this, well, you're going to get a smack. That's just a fact. Now, as I say, my age gives me a lot of protection. Beating up, I'm 79 years of age, attacking, so 80, attacking an 80-year-old man in the street is not going to look good. You can't really go off and boast to your friends. You know, I bet up this Jew supporter. How old was he? About 80. You can't do that. You can't get rid of it. So the fact that I am old, it gives me a lot of protection. But it doesn't give me 100% protection. And particularly with the level of the non-stop anti-Jew, anti-Israel propaganda. You can't get away from it here in Ireland. So as I say, my age protects me a lot. No question about that. But only up to a point. Only up to a point. And without, I'm taking a risk. Now in this park I'm not taking a risk, but I go through the city several days a week. I wander around the city, I wander around to record shops, I wander around to the supermarkets in the city centre, etc. And there's a real danger. The next person who stops me in the street, well, it might be a punch, it could be a slash of a weapon, and nobody would be surprised. But we're living in interesting times. We're living in bad times. And I don't see this situation getting better in the near future. Now, I support Israel. I support Israel 100%. I used to believe in a two states, that kind of thing. I used to believe in diplomacy, all of that. But I've been watching this situation for 50 years, for over 50 years. These constant wars, these constant attacks on Israel. And these are never going to end. Israel is surrounded by enemies, and they will never ever live in peace with the state of Israel. So I hope Netanyahu, I hope he is successful. I think he is doing the right thing. I think the Israelis should make this the final war. If necessary, the Israelis, I think, should just clear the Palestinians out. I think it's time for Israel to take off the gloves, to look reality in the face and acknowledge it. These people will never, ever, ever accept Israel, these countries. But there you are. There you are. The woke situation in Ireland is getting worse. the cultural Marxism that is being imposed in every school, in every kindergarten in Ireland. It's getting worse and worse. And the mask has been dropped. Our entire political class want to destroy Ireland. All our elites, they want to destroy Ireland. They want to destroy democracy. They want to destroy our civilization. Even the biggest fool must be aware by now that what we're seeing in Ireland, England, across the Western world is a full-scale war against Western civilization. England is virtually finished. I lived in England for years. I think it's one of the finest countries that has ever existed. But England is practically gone. The English they're hanging on by their nails. But I think England is finished. I think Europe is finished. If I'm honest, I think Ireland is finished. I don't believe that. I believe things have gone too far. And as I say, I think Ireland is finished. I think the West is finished. And going into the future, Israel is on its own right now, but it does have some support from America. Of course, eventually, the Democrats will get back into power. So, the attitude towards Israel might change. But, Israel might, and I mean this seriously, within a very short few years, within the next 10 years, Israel may be the only free, democratic, Western civilization that is left. It really may be. All the signs are that Western civilization is finished. The people of Ireland, England, the West generally, have refused to fight back. The people of the West, and this is true of Ireland, they have surrendered. They've surrendered without a fight. The patriots of Ireland, the nationalists, they've surrendered. They're cowards. They're quislings. They are the scum of the earth. The Irish nationalists today, they are the lowest form of life. They have totally abandoned their country. These people, they like going on parades. They like marching through the streets, waving Irish flags. They like going on Twitter and YouTube and talking about how patriotic they are. Not a single one of these things, not a single one of these people has lifted a finger. All Irish nationalists now, they're all pacifists. All they say is, we're against violence. As everything gets worse, as Ireland is destroyed, these people look at our political class, they look at the media, they look at the communists, the Marxists, who are destroying our country, brainwashing young people. They look at these people and they say, carry on, destroy our civilization. We won't become violent. That's what they're saying. They're saying, carry on, you don't have to worry about us. Carry on, brainwashing children in school. And sleep well at night. there will be no violence. You politicians who are selling your country down the drain, not just your country, your civilization, don't worry. Sleep well at night. There's nothing to worry about because we're not violent. You know, if you openly reject violence, as all these Irish nationalists do, that is a surrender. I have never, ever, ever in my life said that I reject violence. I've never engaged in violence. I've never promoted violence. But I've never rejected it. And if you reject violence, it means that you believe in nothing. If, as a last resort, you're not prepared to use violence, it means you believe in nothing. All human civilization, democracy, the freedoms we've had for hundreds of years, all of this rests on violence, the threat of violence, the potential for violence if you take people's free speech away, if you take their democracy away. It's the threat of violence that reinforces all these things. To say that you will not engage in violence is to surrender. It's total surrender. But there you are. I think Ireland is finished. I think England is finished. I think the West is finished. Nothing short of civil war will save these countries. And I don't believe there will be civil war. So Israel, you're on your own. My message to Israel and the people of Israel is do what you have to do to protect your country. Don't rely on anyone. Do what you have to do, whatever you have to do. You know, I really do believe now that Israel, if it survives, Israel may end up being the only free, democratic, Western nation in the world. It may be the only outpost of democracy and civilization that is left. So, long live Israel.